I'm Tiffany Boyle, and welcome to the CEO Corner. Today, I want to talk to you about perseverance. I think it's an appropriate topic for our first show, and I think it's an important topic and appropriate because Emerge has shown perseverance over the years. The definition of perseverance is persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. So let me give you a quick history about Emerge. Emerge started in 2015. We had 4 successful issues, and our last issue was in 2017. Then what happened, right? We just disappeared. Life happened. I personally went into politics, and campaigning really took over my life in 2017. So we were even happy to get out that last issue. My co-host, Deshana, got married. She gave birth to her second child. And she also took on a human resource role at the shipyard. All of these are wonderful events, right? But all of them are super time consuming. Yet Emerge was never out of our mind. Deshana and I constantly talked about it over the years, and we were waiting on the right time. So success was still there, and there was a delay in achieving our success. So Emerge, the business, did not cease to exist. I just told everyone it was dormant, which it was. We learned over these years about what our audience wanted from us. So when planning to relaunch, we tailored our products and services. That's why I'm here talking to you today from the CEO Corner on the Emerge radio show, whoop, whoop, and started the Emerge Awards. So CEOs out there, be persistent, be dedicated, and no matter how long it takes, promise me, please CEOs, promise me you will have perseverance. And I'm Tiffany Boyle, and that's my tip from the CEO Corner.
I'd like to welcome our guest, Lois Boyle. Lois Boyle is the founder and executive director of Access Virginia and also the CEO of Boyle Reporting and Captioning Services. Hi, Lois. How are you doing today?
Hi, Deshana. Hi, Tiffany. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Hey, I am a mother. I am a wife. I own a business, Boyle Reporting Services, and it's court reporting services. I am the founder and now executive director of a nonprofit called Access Virginia, and we provide services for accommodation services for persons with hearing loss and vision loss, mainly at the Performing Arts Theater.
Awesome. So which one of your 2 businesses came first?
Boyle Reporting Services, because that is my profession. Yes.
So how did you transition from Boyle Reporting and Captioning Services to Access Virginia?
There was a need. Well, most people would think of court reporting as the person in the courtroom taking all of the proceedings. But there is another side to court reporting. We provide captions for persons who are deaf or hard of hearing so that they can read what's being said in whatever forum that is. So I came in contact with a lady who was profoundly deaf at the age of 30. I met her when she was about 50, and she was very frustrated. I provided heart for her at church services and also some hearings and proceedings like the meetings at the Norfolk Mayor's Commission for Persons with Disabilities monthly meetings. And after getting to know her for a little while, she explained to me and was talking to me about her frustrations, about the difficulties of just integrating into society after her hearing loss. She was a music teacher, and as she became profoundly hard of hearing, she lost a lot of her access to music and to the arts. And as you can imagine, just daily living became difficult. So she wanted to see a show, a performing arts show. And I said, and they didn't offer captions here. She did not know sign language. So I told her to ask. If she really wanted to go, I would provide the services for her. But she had to go and ask the theater for the accommodation. And long story short, she did. And I was able to provide captions for her for The Lion King, which came in 2010. It's a fabulous show. For being
is very nice.
Theater for 20 years, I thought this would be the perfect show for her to see. So we did, and I provided it for her, and she was just very grateful, very emotional that she was able to attend a performance again and enjoy it with the effective communication for her, which is captions. And she wanted more. And she went back and she told some of her club members in the HLAA and other folks, and they too wanted to see. And I was asked to start a nonprofit. And so I could provide the services and offer the services to people who were hard of hearing. And that's how it all transitioned into Access Virginia.
What an amazing story. I'm your host, Shana Kemp Garnett, along with co-host Tiffany Boyle, and we are here with our special guest, Ms. Lois Boyle, who is the founder and executive director of Access Virginia and also the CEO of Boyle Reporting and Captioning Services. Now, Ms. Lois, we know that you have two businesses. We know you're very busy, but explain to our listeners, how do you juggle all that?
Very little sleep. At this point in my life, I do not have little ones running around. So I wanted to make a difference. I got to know some of the persons with hearing loss and understand their struggles and their disenfranchisement. And I thought I could really help and make a difference. And at this point in my life, I wanted to give back. So it was a labor of love. It has to have some kind of passion for what you're doing to run a nonprofit, because it is a lot of work. So I had to curb some of my reporting on the legal side and just balance the two.
Yes. And so, guess I can say and tell everybody listening to Emerge, Lois is also my mother. So when she was talking about being a mother, she left out, being a mother to a wonderful daughter and being a grandmother to a wonderful granddaughter.
Yes.
She skipped that part. I understand for the sake of time, but
a mother is a mother, whether it's direct or a step away. Child. My grandchild is my child.
What I think we could talk about, and we should talk about, and I know when people talk about business and starting a business and having a business, they always talk about like the good stuff, right? How they grew. But with court reporting, it's such a distinct profession and a talent that people have. So can you tell us what are some of the challenges in just the court reporting world and industry at this time, and how do you go about juggling that with Boyle reporting and captioning services?
For me, and I have been doing it for some decades now, the challenge for me is keeping up with the technology. That is the challenge. Work is plentiful because there are not a lot of people coming into the industry, which leaves a gap for attrition. So it is very, very busy right now. A lot of people have the perception that we are going to be replaced by technology. But I can assure you that I have job security.
Good thing.
There is a lot. As technology advances, you need someone to work the technology.
Right.
to understand the industry. So there is a need for court reporting. There is a need for captioners. There's a need for cart providers. Captioners, you can think of the trailer at the bottom of the television. If they're giving the news or the sports, or there's such a large arena where our services can be provided. I provide it in the theater, in the arts arena. So it's just plenty, and varied. And I love the flexibility of it because I can dictate my own hours. I can dictate how much I can work. And that is how I'm able to balance the nonprofit and the Boyle reporting, because I can dictate my hours and my time, which is pretty nice.
Isn't that what we all want? We all want to be able to dictate our hours, what days we can work. All of us are not that fortunate, but I do appreciate how you use the skills that you learned as a court reporter and brought it into Access Virginia, with just starting with the open captioning and then learning more to open up to audio description. So let's talk more about what Access Virginia does and what you need from our audience and how people can actually get paid by being an audio describer and open captioner.
Access Virginia provides, as you mentioned, two accommodation services. It's open captioning, which is a speech to text of the spoken language, and it's output either to a laptop. In the case of the theater, it's output to an LED board. And so people sitting in the audience or sitting in front of me watching a laptop can read what's being said or sung. And for the theater, we include environmental sounds, thunder, doorbell ringing. So they are able to read what we are hearing. And so they can have a more robust appreciation of the show. Otherwise, they would not be able to understand what was going on. So they would just be sitting there, watching everybody laugh or cry. The gamut of emotions that happens when you're watching a show. So the other service we offer is audio description, which is a narration of the visuals. The people can't see, but they can hear. So we describe the costumes, we describe the stage settings, we describe the body language so that they can picture what's going on stage by the descriptions that are given to them. It's like a walkie-talkie system. Someone is talking into a transmitter, and the person seated in the audience has a receiver and an earbud, and they're listening to the descriptions that are input in the pauses in the play, because we don't want to cross-talk over the actors and actresses. And so how you can get paid, we pay our audio describers, and they have to go, it's a specific skill, so they have to go through training. And it's about a 3-day training. And then they go and they shadow an audio describer, and then they're assigned to a show.
Which I have been through the training, and believe me, it changes your world. It changes how you view how we speak to each other, what other people, how they can see or can't see, and what they hear, what they think about, so it is an amazing experience for anybody who wants to be able to make arts more accessible for others.
It's a very specific skill. And we learn what's important to the person who is blind or have profound vision loss, what's important to them to enjoy the show.
We're here with Lois Boyle, CEO of Boyle Reporting and Captioning Services and founder and executive director of Access Virginia. She is here with us on the Emerge show. And just a reminder for You listeners, we air every Wednesday from 12 to 1. And feel free to reach out to us with questions if you want more information about our speakers. And you can reach us on emergethemagazine.com. And with that, Lois, can you please tell our audience how they can get in contact with you, how they can donate to Access Virginia, or how they can volunteer or work for Access Virginia?
Yes, so they can reach us by our email, which is accessvirginia@gmail.com. They can visit our website, which is accessvirginia.info. And they can reach us on Facebook, social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And they can email me. They can go on the website, contact us that way, sign up, volunteer, and that's how they can reach us.
Great. Awesome. And we are going to end with our signature question. And that is, what does the word emerge mean to you?
Ooh, emerge means to come about, to reach a goal, to establish a goal. It means to blossom. And that's what emerge means to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with us what you do. Thank you for being brave to jump into a new field and to start this nonprofit. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You have a mission. It's no collision. Hold the phone. Don't text. You're angling to be next. Brothers and sisters, you won't see it coming. You're off the road. Your life explodes. It's not worth it. Don't do it. You only think there's nothing to it. Put it down, hang up, pay attention to highway action. Behind the wheel, there is no such thing as a small distraction. Join the conversation at decidetodrive.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Welcome to today's lottery drawing. And today's winning numbers are not yours, not yours, and another number that's not yours. And the final number is not yours.
When it comes to having money, don't rely on luck. Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering it. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Gina Pemberton, president of the National Hampton Alumni Association. Our time is now. This is our moment to define what being a Hamptonian really means. At a time when the relevancy and impact of HBCUs is without question, it's absolutely critical that we all engage, work together, and give back to our home by the sea. Engaging as an alumnus means to join your local alumni chapter, mentor a current student, and donate regularly. Join your local alumni chapter now, logging on to NHAAINC.org. Keep Hampton's legacy strong for generations to come. Keeping you informed, we are Smooth 88.1 WHOV.
If there was ever a time to live united, it is now. Now is the time to speak with one voice, to build up, not tear down. It's time to join hands and live united against the problems that keep our communities from thriving. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you? Volunteer or donate now at unitedway.org.
This is a guided meditation on parenting. Take a deep breath in and let go of the time you and your son played basketball and you attempted to slam dunk. Or when you hit that piñata into your neighbor's yard. Let it go.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dorothea Schuler with Emerge, and I'm so excited to have this opportunity today to engage with our audience and invite you guys to emerge into your greatest potential and make a divine decision with Dorothea. We could all agree that every living being inevitably operates and proceeds throughout the course of their life based upon a series of decisions. A decision is defined as a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. And divine, well, that means excellence. So, with that being said, and a play on words, let's make the divine decision today to walk in love. So what does it mean to walk in love? Are we speaking just in a physical form of acts, exchanging love, or in the form of mental actions of thoughtfulness and consideration? All of us can definitely display various forms of physical affection that one can interpret as an expression of love. But can we mentally stop and consider how to display love by the consideration of our feelings? But can we mentally display love by the consideration of another person's feelings as equal to, or even sometimes over our own, especially when we're consciously aware, say that it's appropriate to do so. This is a time when this person needs us to consider them over ourselves. One of my favorite books states that greater love has no one than this, that one would lay his life down for his friends. People, we should make the decision today together to emerge ourselves into love by considering others' circumstances, their difficulties, their shortcomings, and I mean more so their humanness. When we have that consideration, when we have that consideration, only then can we have understanding. And with that understanding comes the ability and the room to thoughtfully love others in a way that we should. But now, faith, hope, love abide in these three. But the greatest of these is love. The greatest of these is love. So today, make the decision to walk in love, knowing that this decision will ultimately help to shape and create a path that reflects a light of excellence in our lives. I'm Dorothea Schuler with Emerge, and I challenge you today to join me and make the decision to emerge into your best life by walking in love. Thank you. And this has been a divine decision with Dorothea.
We are here with Emerge, talking with Jennifer, co-founder and CEO of Community Nights, a nonprofit located in Newport News, Virginia, but impacts so much more areas, many more areas than that. And they are here to inspire and collaborate and make an impact, like I said earlier. So, Jennifer, can you please tell us more about the mission for Community Nights?
Yes, we were founded out of the 2008 financial crisis, and our mission is to support the nonprofit and public school community on the Virginia Peninsula and to really bring folks together. So we want to make sure we support those, the nonprofit and public school community and the people that they serve, and support them through the financial crisis and beyond that, which we didn't even realize COVID was going to happen at that point. But to empower the community to come together collectively and collaboratively, and ultimately create a truly inclusive community to empower everyone in that way. So it's a big impact, but the only way we'll get there is by working together.
Exactly. So Emerge is an organization where we really try to impact, educate, and support small business owners and nonprofits and entrepreneurs. So can you tell our audience, like, really how you got started and how Community Nights got started?
Sure. Teresa and I were both very engaged in the nonprofit and public school community. When our kids were in school, we sat on district level committees. And in the 2008 financial crisis, we watched the actual financial gutting of our public schools that happened at that time. And so sitting in school board meetings, we were watching the impact of that and all the programs that got cut. School board meetings would run until 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And Teresa just looked at me and she's like, we have to be part of the solution to this. And we have a reputation for being very good at fundraising. So we had lots of organizations coming to us and asking us if we could help them set up one of the best fundraisers, which is a bingo game where you can raise an awful lot of money, but it requires an army of volunteers. And none of these organizations could do it on their own. And they really didn't need the full scope of funds that could be raised that way. So the first program that we put together and actually got started 9 years ago was our gift program. And that program brings the community together to volunteer to support the nonprofit community collaboratively. And it empowers folks that you don't have to be able to write a check to support your community. You can come out and volunteer. And then we take the funds that are raised. They not only support our program, our other programs, but then that grant program as a component of gift. We've been able to give out $1,640,000 in grants over the last 9 years to 212 organizations. And that's because of the work of hundreds of thousands of volunteers. And so that's been incredible to watch. And that's the organizations we support go from a 5th grade teaching team all the way to the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank. So it really covers everybody. And one of our components to be eligible for a grant is you have to collaborate. And we define collaboration by sharing your gifts. So we're not looking at how many people are coming in and helping you. We're looking at what strengths do you have in your organization that you're sharing to make the rest of the nonprofit and public school community stronger. And that's one of the key components. So we have committees. That's what we call them because we haven't come up with a better name. But they're really facilitated conversations amongst those who participate in our program where they share where they're having difficulties. They also share strengths, and it facilitates a lot of organic collaboration, and that's what we're looking for.
So I think there's so much in that of what you said. We can probably go on and really dissect it, but I'm going to take us back to you starting, and you said something. So first, for our audience, Teresa is the other co-founder and CFO for Community Nights. But you said you and Teresa saw a problem, and instead of just complaining about it or just dealing with it, you decided that you would do something about it. So I think for a lot of small business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, we all have that same, we're going to do something, we're going to fix it, we're going to help, provide a solution, provide some service, some product. But to me, it always amazes me, like, what is in a person to make them go from, well, here's something I don't like, to let me try to make it to something I do like. What do you think? Like, what was that? If you remember that moment where you guys were like, let's do this. Like, what was the feeling? What kind of research did you have to do? Like, did it take a lot to get started?
I mean, one of the ironic things I think of Teresa and I's friendship, because we've been best friends for years, we literally put together business plans as a hobby. So our husbands didn't even think that we would act on the business plan that we put together for Community Nights. It's actually a story my daughter tells all the time because she was listening to our husbands talk about it as we're at the dining room table, putting together the business plan and going out and doing the research to see, is anybody else doing anything like this? And really fielding all the calls that we had for help. And our husbands were just, they're just having fun doing one of those business plans they do. And my daughter looked at me and goes, you guys don't know your wives very well, do you? They're doing this. And I think the difference that this was because the need was so great. And again, I think it was because of our engagement in the schools and always working to make the schools better. But the pathway we had chosen was, working in the schools committees. I was the vice chair of Hampton Special Education Advisory Committee was the vice chair for 10 years, and I was on the committee for 17. Teresa was on the gifted education committee. We always engaged in the schools because again, our schools need to be better, but you shouldn't complain about it, be part of the solution. So we would work within the school constructs to be partners with the schools to make them better. Something I hear today, a lot of people are very upset with the way schools handled COVID. And I'm like, have you engaged with your school system at all? Have you talked to them, or are you just calling up angry about a policy you don't like? You really need to get involved in your schools because they need that, but that involvement needs to be constructive. It's okay to say something that you're concerned about, but raise it in a way that's what is an alternative to that that's functional, and learn that. So when we're engaging in our community, we need to make sure that we're not just coming out and screaming or venting frustration that we have, but that we've really thought through what's an alternative, and is that practical? Is it implementable? And so that we've always practiced that, but this was the first time where setting up an organization sounded like it was a solution that was needed.
I'm your host, Deshada Kemp Garnett, along with co-host Tiffany Boyle, and we are Emerged. Today, we are here with our special guest from Community Nights, and we've heard so much, but one thing I really wanted to ask you about, when you talk about impact, could you just go over again what your organization has been able to do in the community?
Sure. The most measurable metrics we can give you in regards to our gift program, which had its 9th anniversary just a few weeks ago, is we've been able to award $1,640,000 in grants to 212 distinct organizations. And it's just been an amazing thing to watch the impact of those grants. But I think more importantly, we've gotten those organizations to organically collaborate with one another in really natural ways. And that, the way I always look at it, because we want folks to invest in their community, both financially, but also through volunteering. And when they engage, to realize that when they do it together in a collaborative way, to know that their impact is exponentially more, exponentially more impactful, with a goal towards having a truly inclusive community. And we're really on the way with that, with those grants and inspiring those organizations to work together. And it's fun to listen to them talk about the ways that they've been able to connect through the gift program and watch their organizations be more effective in their missions and goals through that.
So with that, what you said, with the gift program that you all had, and you've been able to make such an enormous level of impact. We have a lot of business owners and people that listen into us, and sometimes they get frustrated because what you've been able to do, they may not be at that level yet. So could you just kind of briefly talk about how long it took you all to get to that level of impact, so people can know, like, it doesn't happen overnight. It really does take time to learn it and to be able to do these great things in the community?
It absolutely takes time. We didn't realize it at the time, but we were creating a new and unique nonprofit model. So the process that we had to go through with the IRS to get our 501c3 was much more challenging than the average organization would have to go through, because they let us know that they really didn't have a model to compare us to. So we had to work with mentors and other folks in the community to, talk to them about what we were trying to do, get advice, find counsel, but you had to persevere through that process, and we were determined to get it done. One of the things, and we had lots of people tell us it was impossible to do, which for Teresa and I just means we're kind of like, well, watch us. To us, that was a challenge to make us double down. Our first grant cycle, we had 4 organizations, and it was $4,000. And pre-pandemic, we had gotten to a level where we were able to give out $100,000 every 4 months. So it was definitely to go from a grant cycle of $4,000 to get to a level where we were able to give out $100,000. We really were building, bingo really is a small business. And we started from scratch, opening up our first session, having to get information out to our customers, people who like to play bingo, and let them know there's a new session available, and creating that session into something that's fun for them, and also letting them know the impact. Whenever you play bingo in Virginia, you're playing for a nonprofit, and the proceeds go to support that nonprofit. So we always bring in speakers that, when you play here, this is what you're supporting, and always trying to make it fun. But at the same time, it's a business. So you got to make sure you're watching your P&Ls, you're watching your growth. We ran it out of our house for a long time, and until our husbands got tired of the house being taken over by the paperwork and all the things. Yeah, it's a journey.
All right. And for those of you listening, P&L, I'm sure we all know, but just in case, is a profit and loss statement.
Yes.
And it's very important for all of us businesses to have one and to learn how to create one. So thank you for that tidbit saying that was needed, and also that you had to work with the IRS. Two important things, people. Remember, we want our documents in order, and we always want to be good with the IRS. This is Emerge. I'm Tiffany Boyle, and my co-host is Deshana Kemp Garnett. We are here with Jennifer from Community Nights, just dropping lovely jewels with us tonight, telling us more about her organization. And I love organizations that make an impact in the community, that emerge from a starting place to where you are now and always wanting to grow. And we are just going to wrap up. Can you tell us, Jennifer, how people can get in contact with Community Night?
Sure. Probably the easiest way is through our website, which is www.communitynights.org. You can also email us directly. My email is jenniferbrown@communitynights.org. Or you can call us. And so I laugh, I have to look at the number because it's just 757-884-8097. You'll get a menu about our different programs. So we also have our coach program, which works with people with disabilities, adults, to help them volunteer with the nonprofit sector in an inclusive way. So if you have a family member who has an intellectual or developmental disability who would like to volunteer, or if you're interested in learning how to volunteer to support an individual with a disability out there in the nonprofit sector, so you can volunteer at a place that you're passionate about and support somebody at the same time, we'd love to hear from you about that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, are you guys on social media?
We are. We have a Facebook page as well, Community Nights, or if you're interested in bingo, Community Nights Bingo. And Nights is spelled with a K. Marcus is telling me to make sure you know.
And it's to either play bingo or volunteer to help work bingo, right?
You know it.
Yes. If that's one thing we know, nonprofits love volunteers, everybody.
Yes.
Right. And so we are going to ask you our signature question, and that is, what does the word emerge mean to you?
Oh, emerge is a beautiful thing. It is wonderful growth coming out of hard work. It always makes me think of a flower, but it is a gorgeous and beautiful thing of growth.
And it is springtime, and I'm very excited that all my flowers are coming back this year. So they are emerging right now. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. Again, that's Jennifer with Community Nights. Please look them up, volunteer with them, support them, donate to them, and just spread the word about this wonderful organization. We thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Can I have your attention for a moment? Listen. Did you hear that? That was the sound of cancer cells being eradicated with proton beam therapy. If caught in time, a cancer diagnosis does not have to be a death sentence. It doesn't have to be painful, and it doesn't have to subject you to the many side effects of traditional radiation. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute invites you to live your life and let us fight your cancer with the most precise cancer treatment available. And now that precision is even sharper thanks to the addition of pencil beam scanning. PBS has treated over 1,800 patients and is only available in select proton facilities in the U.S. The actual treatment lasts 2 minutes or less. Remember this sound. A healthy, normal life can be yours again, cancer-free. Find out how. Call the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute at 877-251-6838 now.
Someone once said, getting there is half the fun. From downtown to Old Town. Hampton Roads Transit and Go Past 365 connects you to entertainment, restaurants, friends. Go Past 365. Find out more at gopast365.com.
WHOV would like to thank HRT for its support of WHOV programming.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I'm Deshana Kemp Garnett, and it's time for my 2 cents. Robert Kiyosaki once said, if you want to be financially free, you need to become a different person than you are today and let go of whatever has held you back in the past. So many of us have heard our friends say those infamous words, new year, new me. I mean, we hear it every year from our friends, our family members, and if we're honest, a lot of us can admit we've said it ourselves. We sit down and we make so many plans for goals we want to accomplish by the year's end. Me specifically, my goals were, I'm going to be debt-free. I'm going to pay off my student loans, no more eating out, and I decided I'm going to do a $10,000 savings challenge and save $10,000. Yeah, those were the plans. But if we're truly honest with ourselves, some of us make the same financial goals every year because we didn't fully commit to obtaining them the year before. And we already know in order to get something we've never had, we have to do something we've never done. And sometimes the goals we want to reach will require us to become a better, more disciplined version of ourselves. That can be scary. It's hard breaking those habits, but we all can do it. So let's just say this. Let's forget about what we didn't do the last time, and let's commit to do better this time around. You can reach your goals. You got this. I'm Deshana Kemp Garnett, and that's my 2 cents. And now for some announcements. If you are in DC the week of April 9th, attend a fashion event. It will be Indie Fashion Week hosted by the ROE Agency and our good friend and contributing writer, Harley Morgan. Visit IndieFashionWeekDC.com for more information. Ladies Around the Globe presents Ladies Around the Gym Fab and Fit Night on April 20th from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Butch Fitness in Hampton, Virginia. It is a wellness experience like no other. Visit LadiesAroundTheGlobe.com for more information. May 7th, there is still time to purchase your tickets to Bel Air Brunch hosted by Future Outlook Group, a great event at Botanical Gardens in Norfolk, Virginia. Emerge Premiere, a 3-day event about entrepreneurs from fashion to tech to an award show, all located in Hampton Roads area, October 16th through the 18th. Check out emergepremiere.com for more information. Special thanks to our guest, Jennifer Brown from Community Nights and Lois Boyle from Access Virginia. Our next show will air next Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Thanks for tuning in to Emerge with Tiffany and Deshana.